Hey. So this will be my final piece for you. I actually haven't done this one this weekend yet. I have been finishing with another piece of mine, but I don't know why this piece was just really like calling out to me today, so it's special, it's for y'all. And it's not, it's funny because whenever I read this piece, people get really like, what's the word? I don't even know what the word is, but just like, weird maybe about the way that they say my name. And I don't want you to worry about that because this piece is not actually about how people say my name now. This piece is about the very first time I heard somebody say my name in English. That's what this piece is about. And so I just want to clarify that. Like, my name is Raquel, and that's how my family say it. It's how my friends say it. But, you know, people that don't speak Spanish, I don't expect that. So in English, it's Raquel. But I hadn't heard that until I was 5 years old. And so, I couldn't put like words to it then, how it felt, but now in adult life I did, and that was a really significant moment for me. And so I like to share this story with you. Yeah, names are just really important in my opinion. When I was 11 months old, I uttered my first word, papá, father in Spanish. Spanish, the language of my father and mother, and their fathers and mothers before them, o sea, mi abuela, mi bisabuela, y tatarabuela. I uttered my first word in Spanish because it is, to this day, my first language. First meaning primary, meaning instinct, meaning most natural, most comfortable, meaning in the beginning, meaning en el principio, God created the heavens and the earth, meaning Spanish was the first language I ever learned about God in. My mother, the worshiper, sung hymns in Spanish to me as I laid still tucked within the comfort and the safety of her womb, and my father whispered El Padre Nuestro in my ear as we repeated after him, Padre Nuestro que estás en los cielos, santificado sea tu nombre, the Lord's Prayer. It was in Spanish that I learned to pray. Spanish meaning the language I learned to talk to God in, meaning the only language I know to get an answer to prayer. I was 11 months old when I spoke my first words, papá. And a couple of days later, I spoke my second, carro, which is car in Spanish. So of course I learned it as carro. It was Spanish, the first language I learned to laugh in. When friends and family would come over, my parents would bring me out and ask me to say carro, say perro, say any word that would show them how proud I was to be who I was and to come from where we came from. But my favorite was always when somebody would ask me my name. Proudly, I would puff up my chest, wave the curls out of my face because my name was good. My name was great. My name is Raquel Carolina Polanco Serrato. And trust me, there were no R's left behind. And the adults, they would cheer and laugh and clap, and I felt good because my name was mine, and it was me, and it was something that no one could ever take away from me, or so I thought. But of course, a few years later, I started school. Imagine me, 5 years old, with an accent thicker than my curls. The teacher asks the students to introduce ourselves and tell the class one funny thing about yourself. When it was my turn, I stood up. I puffed up my chest, brushed the curls out of my face the only way I'd been taught how, but this time, the kids giggled. I could not name the feeling, but I knew their laugh was not meant to be a compliment like my tíos and my tías. It wasn't warm. It wasn't welcoming like the laughs I would get at home. And I questioned everything. My name, my accent, the R's that made up my name, my favorite letter, the inside joke that I just seemingly told the class but somehow missed. Ashamed, I began to sit, and the teacher stopped me. Wait, tell us one funny thing about yourself. I shook my head and I sat, thinking to myself, did I not just tell you? Shakespeare asks, what's in a name? So cavalier, so nonchalant, as though it's nothing, but I tell you that it's everything. Okay, thank you, Raquel, the teacher said to me, and I sat still. It was the first time I had heard anyone name me in English. That day I heard a lot of words, but the world seemed foreign to me. Or I seemed foreign in it. I don't remember feeling like myself because I was Raquel, and this Raquel person was someone I didn't want to meet, let alone be. Throughout the day, there was a lot of creativity with my name, and I was named in many ways. I was named Raquel, Roquel, Rachel, Rochelle. Someone even called me Rebecca. With every mispronunciation, pieces of me died inside. As the apostles whose names were changed from Saul to Paul or Abram to Abraham, I felt that I too had been named by the divine. So what's in a name? Everything. Surely my name means something. But the problem must have been mine because I'm the one with the complicated name, right? I mean, after all, there is an R and there's a Q, and those are complicated letters. That's how I felt. The entire day, not a single person called me by my name. After school, I walked outside and I heard my older sister call to me in Spanish, and I exhaled the deepest sigh, unaware that I had been holding my breath the entire day. We waited together for Mommy to pick us up, who I couldn't wait to see. I just wanted to hear her say my name in a language I was used to, in her familiar motherly tone, in a way that only she could. She asked me about my day, and it took everything in me not to cry. I think she knew. I mean, her name is Sara del Carmen, so of course she knew. She cupped my face in her hands, and she whispered our favorite saying to me, "Mija, you are poetry in a world that is still learning the alphabet." Except that she said it in Spanish, the language I learned to pray to God in, the language I first fell in love in, the language I use to share secrets with my sisters to this day. It is our family code, the language that connects me with a lineage of tíos and tías, abuelos y abuelas who gave me a voice, a space to stand in, as though we shared our own little secret. Mami whispered to me in Spanish, the language of our God and answered prayers, a language that like a compass will always point me home when she calls me by my name. Thank you. Thank you. This next performer is actually not new to Under 30. Their first time to the stage with this particular show was back in 2008, so maybe you're familiar, maybe not. But please put your hands together for Allison Akootchook Warden.
I went to the land of the ice and the snow, born as in your back is all that you know. I like to be where the quantum goes, hey, hey, I feel in your back today. Oh, between the madness and before the disease, within the blood and between all the seas. Oh, I know that my dreams tell me which way to go. I am in the Arctic, yet there is no snow. Oh, when we remember the stories in veins, deeply we wonder again and again, the history spanning for thousands of miles. I pick you all up like my own precious child. Oh, open your hearts to the great mysteries and feel all the motion and let go of disease. Oh, break down the barriers with me today, for I am ready back from around the bay. Oh, as we go closer and fall down into the
Ariga. Kaya nakala ko ba nga, ariga, tukap kipsi. Ako chugalo, matumayagalo, panikpagalo, chay panalo. Asi, panikpagalo. Aulayaiqsimarugut. Una, ilukaisa. Tusalakira. Iluming tusalakira. Ikaw marunga. Arika. Inyo kaya tutamiya ka. Atay, ilivit. Atay, tatukalakalo. Kuya nakpakipsi, Farnsworth kuya, tatay. Nakupalok to si. I'm Susie. I wanted to they told me to tell a long time ago story, so I'm going to tell a story about the worm. You know, up in our land, we don't like the bugs. We don't like any kind of bug, especially if it's flying. And maybe it's because of this story that we have that sense about bugs. You know, we respect the bugs, and they stay over there, and we stay over here. But you know, long time ago, long time ago, there was a story about a worm, a little tiny worm. Now, there was a village over on the west side, and they had a lagoon, and beautiful. But there was no food. And the villagers were thinking of moving. They were going to move their whole village so they could find more resources. These kind of things happened long time ago. Now, there was an elder there, and the leaders had a meeting, and they were talking, and that elder was so frail and old, and they were going to have to go out in the boats and then go along the coast and then traverse hard terrain. And they decided to leave that elder there. Now, she was okay with that. She was at peace. She knew that they had to do what they had to do. And she saw and watched them as they left. She was all alone. The only thing she had to eat was her hides from her muklaks, or what she was sleeping on. She had no food, but she had tools. Now, the second day after they left, right in front of her igloo, she picked up a little tiny baby worm. And she decided it was going to be her friend. Atay, Atmao, she called him, Atmao. You're my friend. And she fed whatever little things she had to that baby worm. Every day she would feed that baby worm. Any tiny food she had, it would have some too. Now that baby worm started to grow, and it started to grow. And she was talking to it every day, and she started telling it how to hunt. And pretty soon that baby worm was bigger enough to hunt a lemming. And so it would go and avingak. It would go and get the avingak and pull it down and bring it back to her. And they would cook it, and she would cook it, and they would share it. And then it got a little bit bigger, and then it was getting after a fox, and it was hunting the fox. And she was so good. Now you got to learn something else. And they kept going through the animals until it could get a tutu. That worm was big enough to take a whole caribou down. And then that worm got bigger. And that worm was able to take down a beluga whale. And she would sleep at it at night and talk to it every day. And that worm kept getting bigger and bigger until it got so big it could hunt a whole beluga, a whole bowhead whale, as big as 40 feet long. And she had enough food and all the things she needed, and she had the best friend in that worm. And she would even, it would let her get up on it, and it would take her out to different places to go gather berries. Now, one of these times, she was out gathering berries, and she could see the old village site where she was still living. And she was looking, and she could see something coming, and it looked like the people were coming back to the village. She was so happy to see them. She was so excited to see people again and introduce them to their worm friend and all these things. They were gonna, look, we have a hunter. She was excited about her worm. But the worm was kind of far away, far out of her reach. She couldn't even shout to it. And that worm was closer to the shore. She was trying to yell to it. It wasn't listening. And that worm, it remembered when it was a little tiny baby worm, when she was crying and crying about being alone, and upset that she was left by herself, and crying for her kids and her grandkids. And that worm remembered. And that worm knew that he didn't want to share her with anybody else. He liked being a worm by himself with her. He didn't want to have all those people there. And that anger and resentment just grew in that worm's heart. And that worm got all angry and upset, and it went down into the tundra. And she could see the waves of the tundra moving. It was down underneath, and it was going after those people, and she was screaming, no, Adelma! And it kept going, and she couldn't do anything. She just watched as Atmao, the worm, took those people out one by one, going up through the tundra and taking them down, and he killed all of those people. True story. Now, that old woman, she loved her worm, but she didn't know he could become a killer. And she thought, well, now he knows what humans taste like, so maybe I need to hide. And she started going this way, and she was trying to get away as fast as she could, even though she couldn't walk very good. She thought she could hide in the tundra somewhere. And that worm was so proud of himself and what he had done, but when he turned around and saw that elder running, his heart broke. How could she think I would ever hurt her, my precious grandma, my precious best friend? And sure enough, he was so heartbroken, he just went under the tundra and went right for her and pulled her out and took her out too. Yeah, that happened. That's why we don't like those bugs. Ooh. You know, we have had an unbroken line of our stories and memories of our place and our people going all the way back in time. And a long ago story. I mean, long time ago, we had palm trees in the Arctic. Yeah, that's what our elders said. Long time ago, there were palm trees in the Arctic. Yeah, and it was hot out, and you could swim in the ocean, and we didn't wear many clothes, and we were hot, and it was hot out, and we had different animals. And they always said, someday there will be palm trees in the Arctic again.
Oh dear. I'm going to tell you a story about your auntie. You got an auntie, she's not here right now. Your daddy's sister. Okay, you know, it's me, I'm the one. I did it. You know, my daughter was the most beautiful woman in the whole land. She was so beautiful. She still is. Yeah, you can't see her yet. She was refusing to get married. Allah. How many men would come and try to marry my daughter? My wife and I would say, we like this one, we like this one. I mean, we like almost all of them. They kept coming to the house, and she would say, no, no. She didn't approve of anybody. I said, She kept refusing them. Pretty soon the word was spreading around the Arctic, and handsome men were coming from as far away as Greenland, all the way, Canada, everywhere. They would come try to see if they could be the winner and win my daughter's heart. No. No. She didn't want to get married. That's so weird. We needed a hunter in our family. That was before your daddy was born. Ami, Adai. We didn't know what we were going to do. It was against our ways. So my wife and I had a talk, and we told her, you need to get married. This is it. You need to do this. This is part of us. Get it together. And so the next man who walked through that door, she said yes. And he was actually the handsomest one, if he was a contest. I mean, he was a really nice looking, tall, slender man. He had long hair, hunter, all the good things. And he took her up to the mountains to live like he was going to do. Now, about a year later, maybe not that long, I start having nightmares. I was seeing her with feathers and blood, and she was crying. She had bruises. In my nightmares, every night, something different. I started to get worried about my daughter. I told my wife, we're going to go up there. I'm going to go up there. I'll go myself with a 2-person kayak. I'm going to go see what's going on. Yes, I did. Oh. Anyway, I went through and I parked my kayak and walked up to that place where they were living. Her husband was out. There were feathers everywhere and blood from the animals. It was a total wreck. She had a bruise on her leg. She looked crazy, her hair. She wasn't beautiful anymore. She looked different. She was crying. She told me that at night, her husband would go out and he would transform into an eagle. And he would go hunting. She had married an eagle man. Now, he was out when I arrived, and he had just left, and he would normally be gone for how many days, leaving her alone, way up there. So we decided to make a break for it. Yes, we did. And so we started coming down the mountain, and we got into my kayak, and we started going. And then all of a sudden we heard a screech, and we could see he had come home, and he started coming after all of us. And there were all these different birds from all over the region coming for us, coming around us, coming around us. It was being like the whole sky was turning black right behind us. They kept getting closer while I'm trying to paddle. So I thought to myself, they don't want me. He doesn't want me. He wants my daughter. And I took my daughter and I threw her overboard. And she was screaming and crying out, "Appa, Appa!" And she put her hands on the edge of the kayak. "Appa, Appa, no me. No me." Those birds were still coming. So I took my savik and I chopped off every single one of her fingers. Every single finger. And I watched as she went down, 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 down into the ocean with her long hair coming up. My paning! Paning! And I watched as her fingertips became all the animals of the ocean. The bowhead whale, the walrus, the seal, the other kind of seal, the narwhal, and I can't remember all of them, but I saw them. There were lots of them. That was before we had those animals. That was before we had them. And she has become Samna, that one down there, with her long flowing hair that Akootchook shamans go down to brush her hair. And she releases the seals and the whales and all the everything. She is also known as Sedna. And nowadays, when you see a woman with the tattoos on her fingers, you know, they usually have one on their chins to show they're a woman, or show if they're married, or show if they have kids. But on their fingers, that's for my girl, Samna, to remember the sacrifice she made so that we can have all these ocean animals. And you, you're gonna be trained to be an Akootchook and go down there and brush her hair. I can't see her, but you can. And I wish I could see her again.
I never knew a love like this before. Never knew. Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Bruce, you need to bend a little bit further down. Okay, everyone's doing good. Ira, class is not over yet. Okay, Mark. There you go, Mark. Look, everybody look at Mark. Okay. Oh, he's got it. Okay, Brian, good job. Oh, yes, okay. Almost done, everyone. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, well, good class, everybody. Good class. Oh, yes. A few announcements. Oh, yakni. A few announcements before we go. You know, over here at the Palm Springs Frozen Yogurt and Hot Yoga facility, it's not all about the yummy yogurt. You know you have to come to class. Oh, Pepe. Over. So, and I know I'm becoming many of your favorite teacher because I'm so strict. But you guys gotta listen to me, okay? So, we're gonna do a few breathings before we leave the class, okay? Everybody put your fingers in your belly buttons. Yes, even you, I see you. I see you, not doing it. You pay for this. Okay, remember that. Okay, everybody breathe in. And out. Good job. Breathe in again. Hold it. And breathe out. Oh, good. Okay, we're going to do the biggest one yet. Ready? Kick. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Good job. You're such good listeners today. Okay. There's no chocolate in the yogurt machines today. They never fix it. Okay. So, I'm so proud of all of you for all the work you've been doing. I know I'm tough on you, but I'm back. I know I'm living in Palm Springs. It doesn't make sense, but just go with it, okay? I like the cold, but I'm in the heat. I cool down everything. You know, after the show, after our gathering here today, after we finish the class and you have your yogurt, Mark is going to lead a primal scream therapy session in the parking lot. Okay? Bruce, Darren, Ira, Brian, follow Mark and go meet him in the parking lot. The women can do something, you know, everybody can go. He's done it before. Go as far on the way far end this time, okay? You're gonna scare the neighbors again. But you know how Mark is, okay. So, and let's see, what else? What is the other announcement? I'm gonna be starting a new class. It's gonna be ice cold yoga, okay? It's too hot. It's this yoga. It's too hot. It's too hot. So, anyway, we're going to start ice cold yoga, okay? Enough of this hot yoga. I'm done with it. So if you want to try ice cold yoga, we're going to have it on Wednesdays, okay? Okay. So everyone has something in there somewhere. I don't know where you put it. Okay. So people have been asking me to do some healing, and I know I'm in demand and everything, so I want to help all of you because some of you really need it. Mark, okay. Just kidding. Okay, so we're going to think about what we need to be healed. Everybody has something they need to be healed, right? Okay, let's be kind to each other and to ourselves. We're going to think about what we need to have healed. Don't tell anybody it's weird, okay? Weird and gross, okay. Even me, I have things to be healed, and I don't want to tell you because it's really awkward, okay? So just, yes I do. So, everybody think about their thing. Take a moment to think about, what am I going to heal? What am I going to heal? What's my big issue? Where did it come from? What do I need to heal? You guys are supposed to be thinking. Okay, you guys got your thing ready? Everybody needs some healing, especially me. I sure need it. Okay, so now when you think of that thing, take your sticker off. And when you're putting it on, say out loud, I commit to my healing process. Okay, ready? I commit to my healing process. Okay, say it 2 more times. I commit to my healing process. Last time. I commit to my healing process. Okay, so now you have this and you can remember what you're supposed to be healing. before our next yoga class, when you come back to your class for ice cold yoga, I want you to tell me you were doing something good. You don't have to tell me the details, okay? I don't want to know. Scream it out in the parking lot, okay? And all of you, you know, I'm just so proud of all of you. Oh, I'm going to help do a little healing right now. This is a very special tool. And if you think of what you want to let go now, you just release something. Let's try that again, okay? Something's boiling to the surface, something's boiling to the surface. And now, oh, I feel lighter, even me. Now, oh, good job. Okay, and for extra, we're gonna look at the light and we're gonna feel our negativity that we've been carrying around. I can feel it, I feel it, I feel it. It's not over there, it's over here. Wait, where is it? Where's it? Okay, you know who you are. Okay, I feel your negativity. It's kind of gross. I got it too. And we're gonna look into the light and I'm gonna count down. Come on, this works, okay? This is serious, okay. Oh, this is special. In your back, special something, okay. I'm gonna count down and we're gonna look at the light and we're gonna, when I count down to 0, I'm gonna put it into the light and it's gonna be gone, for real, okay? This is something that works, okay. Pingasut, malagok, atausik, kyak. Kuyanak. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, Mark. Oh my goodness.